With the exploration of space being defined in the 20th century, we know that living in this century, we must think about where we now stand and where we must go. So while it was defined quite well in the 20th century, the opportunity of space must guide our work in the 21st century.
On this vote, the yeas are 220, the nays are 207. The motion is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. Hail to the chief, to Joe Biden. His leadership, his vision, his inspiration made today possible. How can they vote against the planet? Mother Earth. Mother Earth gets angry from time to time, and this legislation will help us address all of that. Just as a matter of history, just a little trivia, more than trivia, but this is like historic because every member in the House and every member in the Senate, Democratic member in the House, Democratic member in the Senate, voted for this legislation.
That you'd put a bill on the floor that didn't go through committee. You put a bill on the floor that would double the size of the IRS, that could go after the American public, that has no set on an income, that 710,000 people under the income of 75,000 are now going to be audited because you want them to pay for what you think is best. That you're going to tax with no limit on income some family that already lost a month's salary based upon your past actions because of inflation. You're going to make them choose how cold. You're going back to Jimmy Carter. You're simply telling the American public to put that sweater on, turn that heater down. But to your elite donors, you're going to give them the tax credit from those IRS agents so they can go buy a new Tesla. That's what you're doing in this bill. But 4 or 6 months from now, you'll blame somebody else for it. The good news is there'll be a new Congress with a new ability to change all that. That will provide the American public a commitment to America with a new plan to put this country back on the right direction. Madam Speaker, with whatever happens today, and I can only guess, if you have all the votes in your pocket, if people don't have to show up, 1 or 2 people can determine the outcome. But Madam Speaker, I implore upon you, I don't know what happens in your conference. Please allow the American public to come in to simply tell you and explain to you that no, gas is not lower, groceries do not cost less, and the money does not go as far as it did before. Maybe that's why I can only understand if you truly believe that you would vote yes. For everybody else that's living in a real America, they will vote no. And 87 days from now, I believe most of America will have the answer to that question too, with a new Congress and a new plan. No, former Secretary of Treasury. He warned you if you went through with that $2 trillion that inflation would rise, that America would be harmed. But nobody listened on the other side. They were proud, they were going to cheer, they're going to get elected, they're going to win based upon this. And they went ahead and they passed that bill with one-party control. In the House and in the Senate, and the president signed it. If we listen to Steve Ratner, a Democratic advisor to Obama, he calls it the original sin of inflation. If you listen to the American public, Madam Speaker, I hope every single member asks their constituents, could they give 1 month's salary up? Could they afford to give a month's salary up? And I would love it, Madam Speaker, if the members would come back and tell me anyone who says yes to that. But the sad part about it, Madam Speaker, is everybody in America that's paid on a salary just lost more than a month because it was deja vu all over again. It was exactly that vote that took more than a month's salary from every American that's paid monthly. But we've got a president, Madam Speaker, that thinks inflation is zero. I guess that's why we're back to where we are again. Today, the People's House should be working to answer our country's call to address the rising prices of gas, groceries, and just about anything else that Americans buy. I haven't heard one debate on this floor today about how we're going to lower the gasoline price. I'm not sure, but I guess, Madam Speaker, on the Democratic side, they think if they raise taxes, somehow that'll make the price go down, not up. They've proven to be wrong. Instead, Madam Speaker, moments from now, we'll take up this misguided, tone-deaf bill. I believe the largest tone-deaf bill I've ever seen in this chamber in 232 years. Democrats, more than any other majority in history, are addicted to spending other people's money, regardless of what we as a country can afford.